Texans franchise player, the two-time highest paid offensive line in NFL history, Laremy Tunsil speaks. He says, don't sleep on us. I got a question, though. What the hell does that even mean? Let's go inside the locker room.
Yeah. It's the locker room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock. Localize every time. Can't stop. Won't stop. Yeah. Top two.
All right, we're 8 days away from training camp. The hype train begins. The slowest time of the year is almost over, and football season will be here before we know it. Welcome to the locker room, number one source for Texans daily digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me Monday through Friday, 10 to 2 on Sports Radio 610 and the Odyssey app. We will be on the field. We will be in person. We'll be talking to players. We'll be talking to coaches during practice, after practice, I should say, and we'll bring it to the stream to you. We've done this for, and I say we, I mean me. We've done this for about 10 months now. We've been through some crap, but no days off. Daily Texans digital content from someone who's right there in the mix. Download the Odyssey app right along here, and shout out to everyone else in the Texans space doing their thing. Subscribe, like, right along. You will not regret it. Interest in the Texans is increasing. And interest in the Texans is only going to get higher. Be out there at the tailgates all the way to the postgame shows. You can find them right here. So right along. Laremy Tunsil, highest paid offensive lineman in the NFL 2 times. He wants you to know that. Friend of the show. He spoke to Adam Schefter, and he was about as candid as I can recall Laremy Tunsil ever being. Usually whenever Laremy Tunsil talks, there's some funny parts, but he's pretty sharp, and he's going to avoid headlines, etc. But it seems like he's gotten more comfortable in his skin. And quite frankly, it seems like he's just gotten more comfortable with the state of the franchise and the state of this team. I mean, when you're playing for the squad that Laremy Tunsil's been playing with the last couple of years, you're probably not going to stick your chest out too much for Davis Mills or, David Culley or Lovie Smith. But it does seem like Laremy Tunsil is kind of filling this squad a little bit. And he spoke to Adam Schefter and had some interesting stuff to say. I kind of want to touch on it and try to dive into what exactly it means. Put your comments in. I like to reply to the comments at Landry Locker on Twitter. Let's hear from Laremy Tunsil on the Adam Schefter podcast, starting with just laying out his journey with the Houston Texans. When the Texans made the trade, I think they traded too much. Two firsts and a second was a little bit high. Of course, you had King Bill and the POS, Jack Easterby, overseeing things, so you couldn't expect to make good trades with those guys. Ended up being a cornerstone. What's in the past is in the past, but 2 1s and a 2, especially with what happened with Trent Williams, might have been a little much. But here was Laremy Tunsil talking about his path. And in year 1, he's coming in to play with Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, a lot of other really good players, DJ Reader. And he laid out then to now. Here's Laremy Tunsil with Adam Schefter.
We make it to the second round of the playoffs, and we playing the Kansas City Chiefs, and we up 24-0. You know what I mean?
I was at that game.
It's so crazy, because we easily could have, I think our next game would have been Tennessee Titans, who I think we swept the whole season. And then when we would have been playing with the 49ers in the Super Bowl, it would have been crazy. But, things happen for a reason. But that was a high, coming into that organization and balling. That was eye-opener to me, because with Miami, I didn't really get to see that. But these past 3 years with the Houston Texans, it's been rough. We've been having 3 different head coaches. They all been trying to change the coaches, but couldn't get it done. But now that we have DeMeco Ryans came in the building, a younger player who used to play for the Houston Texans, he did a great job as the DC with the 49ers. He's bringing that energy from the 49ers to the Texans, and we adding some players, man. The sky's the limit. There's some energy in that building, man, and it feels great.
They actually lost to the Titans in Week 18. They did not play their starters, though. Remember, that was the really weird season where Deshaun Watson couldn't score on opening drives, and the only time he did score on the opening drive was that Kansas City game, the wheel route to Kenny Stills. But A.J. McCarron actually scored on the opening drive against Tennessee in Week 18. The Texans had the division wrapped up, but they weren't really trying. And Tennessee just got hot at the right time. But that did have to be crazy for Laremy Tunsil. I do wonder if that Kansas City thing, you look back at it and naturally you become frustrated. I was actually in a Las Vegas casino watching it, and you get frustrated, but you wonder if in the big scheme of things, it might end up being the best thing, because Deshaun Watson was kind of the lipstick on the pig that was Bill O'Brien and Jack Easterby running an organization. And he was able to overcome a lot of the shortcomings, the poor scheme, et cetera. Now, ideally, you wouldn't have liked for it to get as bad as it did. I think the POS lingering had a lot to do with that, as well as Deshaun wanting out. But the POS, Jack Easterby had a lot of an impact in that. I'm kind of tired of talking about him, but Laremy took me back there. I didn't go back there myself, but yeah, I do wonder if it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise, but it had to be weird for Laremy Tunsil, because you get out of Miami where they're not winning many games. You come here, you think you're going to be with Deshaun Watson, protecting his blind side for a long time. And then you go through just an awful last couple of years. You do get 2 contracts along the way, 2 very, very hefty contracts, record-setting contracts. So it's been good for Laremy Tunsil, but you got to think at some point he wants to start winning games. Here's more from Laremy Tunsil. This is Laremy Tunsil talking about DeMeco Ryans. So this is where we are now. DeMeco Ryans. It's the DeMeco Ryans show. It's DeMeco Ryans team. It's DeMeco Ryans era. What does Laremy Tunsil like about that?
How consistent he is. I know what I'm getting from DeMeco every single day. The same type of energy that we need, that I need, that the organization need, that my teammates need. He brings that consistent energy that we need, and that's why I appreciate him most about him, because I know what I'm getting from him. He's bringing that energy. He's bringing, and he also listens. He's a player's coach, of course, and he listens to what the players have to say, and that's very important in today's game.
Okay. So there you go. About what you would expect from DeMeco Ryans, about what you would hear. I am so excited to see what type of coach DeMeco Ryans is, what type of head coach he is, where he struggles, where he improves, where he adjusts, how his teams come out, how his teams respond to him, the ups and downs. Because this isn't going to be another one and done. I don't even think this is going to be 2 or 3 and done. Even worst case scenario, like DeMeco's going to get a chance to see this out. And we're going to get a chance to grow with them. You no longer have in town coaches who no one else would hire. No one was going to hire Lovie Smith to be a defensive coordinator. I still think he was fine for last season. Nobody damn sure was going to hire him to be a head coach. And David Culley, I think you already know how that went. Here was the money quote from Laremy Tunsil. And I want to dive a little bit more into this. This is Laremy Tunsil. The Texans aren't projected to do a lot. I think 5.5 wins was the last win total over under that I saw. Might be up to 6 or 6.5. Here's Laremy Tunsil with the money quote with Adam Schefter on his podcast.
Don't sleep on us.
And why do you say that?
Don't sleep on us, man. We got some talent on the team, especially on the defensive side. On the offensive side, we got some talent on the team. And you see it last year. Like, you seen last year games. Like, we fought to the end. Like, it wasn't like we was getting blown out. Like, we fought to the end in every game. So just don't sleep on us. Just don't count us out, man. Just watch the underdog work.
My question is, what does "don't sleep on us" mean? Like, what would be surprising for the Texans? Are we talking playoffs? Are we talking 9 wins? We talking 10 wins? We talking about a run? What would surprise people to where they look back and they say, we really slept on the Texans? I think 9 wins would be, like the Giants did last year, would be, the equivalent of, people slept on us and we kind of proved them wrong. That would be me. What do you think? What does "don't sleep on us" mean? Like, what would lead to the Texans, Laremy Tunsil and company, getting the last laugh and proving people wrong? I would say 9 wins. And in this league, someone's going to go from the bottom of the league to 9 wins. It happens every year. I've actually laid it out. Like, it happens literally every single year. I'm not making that up. The last 10 years, someone has made that much of a jump. Last year, it was the Giants from 4-12 to 9-7-1. Year before, it was the Eagles from 4-12 to 9-8, as well as the Bengals from 4-12 to 10-7. Year before that, you had Washington go from 3-13 to 7-9. Bears went 8-8 and got in the playoffs. Kyle Shanahan in 2019 from 4-12 to 13-3 with the 49ers. You had the Texans in 2018 go from 4-12 to 11-5. Now the Deshaun Watson injury had something to do with that. Same thing with the Colts, 4-12 to 10-6. Jags 2017, 3-13 to 10-6. Rams 4-12 to 11-5. I could go all the way down the list. I could keep going. It's not a blanket statement. It happens every year. Now, is it going to be the Texans or is it going to be another team? Who knows? But in the NFL, it's going to happen. Will it be with the Texans? I don't know. There's probably some other teams that, might have a little bit more talent, might be a little bit further along, but it is going to happen. And those are examples. And a lot of those examples, if you noticed, it's coaches early on making immediate impacts, from Brian Dable to Nick Sirianni to, you heard the Sean McVay example, Zach Taylor with the Bengals. Now, sometimes you have to, you need a couple of years. You got to put Joe Burrow with Jamar Chase, and it takes a couple of years, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you catch people sleeping like Dable did and Sirianni. Now, we shall see, but it will happen. Will it be the Texans? Who knows? But I think 9-7 or 9-8, excuse me. I'm still in the 16 game mode. Would be the what don't sleep on us would mean. Jalen Petrie is interesting because I keep asking this question. Can everyone in the world and everyone in all of Houston, from the 832 to the 713, can everyone say that someone's underrated and then be underrated? Like, at what point do we just say Jalen Petrie's a good football player? We'll see how good he's going to be, because he's not underrated anymore. Everybody's saying it. So if everybody's saying he's underrated, he's not underrated. He's considered a really good football player. So let's eliminate the word underrated from speaking on Jalen Petrie. Let's take it to another level. Give me something else. Don't give me the word underrated. Laremy Tunsil did just that with Adam Schefter. Now, maybe he went too far, but I like where his head's at, and I like that he's at least not saying this underrated thing that doesn't exist, because if everybody says it, you can't be underrated. Here's Laremy Tunsil.
I got one guy. I got two guys on the defensive side I can talk about right now, and that's our safety, Jalen Petrie. Baller, bro.
Wow.
Baller. Solid. He's going to get, to me, in my eyes, he's the top 5 safety already, and this is his second year. And a lot of people, a player a lot of people don't know about is Stingley, man. Stingley's gonna come out. Stingley's gonna come out and ball now. He was the number 3 pick for a reason now, or the number 2 pick, one of them. Yeah,
taken ahead of Sauce Gardner.
Exactly. Trust, just watch.
Just watch. Top 5 safety might be a little much. Could he end up being a top 5 safety? Yes. Does Jalen Petrie have a ton of talent? Yes, I believe so. But man, I don't think I've seen a player get this much hype from the Texans ever. That's not already like an established great player. Like, we're not talking about JJ or Nuke or Andre or Deshaun or, I don't think that I've seen a player that is not accomplished at the NFL level yet. He's a good player. 5 interceptions and the tackles and kind of a record-setting statistic season last year. I don't think I've seen a player get this much hype in a long time. I think he can live up to it. I just hope people aren't putting, too much expectations on him to where if there still are some struggles, we act like it's some sort of disappointment. I'm trying to kind of channel the hype for Jalen Petrie because I'm a big fan of him. Can't wait to talk to him. He'll be on the show at training camp for sure. So subscribe to the Odyssey app right along here. We'll bring the content to you on the radio side of things as well as on the digital. What about the offensive side? There's a lot of high upside on the defensive side. The offensive side, though, there's some unknowns, but I don't think there's like all pro caliber type of talent like there is on defense. I mean, you have some Pro Bowl possibilities there, from Petrie to Stingley, Will Anderson. We could even throw some other guys in there depending on, how DeMeco works with them and how he revives them, or how he gets the most out of them. But what about on offense? Let's hear Laremy Tunsil try to sell the offensive talent.
A lot of guys, actually, because I'm on that side of the ball. I see it every day. A lot of guys. C.J. Stroud, Tank Dudley, Dalton Schultz, Titus Howard, Kenny Green, Damian Pierce. I got a list. I can go on all day. I can cite these guys all day because I see how they work. They care about the game of football, and that's what we need on this team to get it done.
All right. So there you go. Some interesting names that he brings up. Strong recommendation, Laremy Tunsil on the Adam Schefter podcast. He talked about the gas mask. He talked about the day he was traded. A lot of candid stuff from Laremy Tunsil, but the money quote was, "Don't sleep on us." What does that mean? Put it in the comments, subscribe, like, all that. Laremy Tunsil says, "Don't sleep on us." What does that mean? By the way, Laremy Tunsil, the way he hit that gas mask, whew. And I know that it was a big deal on the draft day, but man, the fact that he hit that like a champion, I don't know how he hit it the way that he did, but he did. Sure, he doesn't want to talk about that, but is what it is. 8 days away. Tomorrow it's going to be a week. I got a lot to get into on the show. We'll also be back live on the stream. Subscribe, like, right along. Man, it's fun around here. It's really fun around here. You can feel it. You can tell that the players are feeling it. And Laremy Tunsil, little quieter the last couple of years. He's feeling this squad now. No matter what happens, though, my dog's feeling it too. When it comes to this Texan stuff, we are all in this together. Have a good one.
Yeah, we top 2 and we not too plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up. We number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.